live in the dungeon. This is the Dream Warrior Review. I'm Kurt Thomas.
I'm Mick Strawn.
I had a thought about this movie.
You did.
We don't need to be worried about Russian hackers because there's other things online that are scarier. But so anyway, this is an exciting episode.
Or that are okay.
Do you know why?
Yeah, probably because there's three of us sitting here.
It's episode 102.
Oh, that is 102. That's right. Yeah.
And we're getting close to 4,000 downloads.
Yeah, we are.
And we have our first guest on the show.
Woo-hoo!
And he might not talk very much, but if he does, it's great. But if he doesn't, it's okay.
Is he related to you?
He's actually my brother.
He is your brother.
And I felt bad because he drove all the way here from California.
Wyoming.
Just for this?
Just for this.
Wow.
And he's going to leave as soon as we're done.
Wyoming.
Wyoming through California? That's an interesting...
well, we have a brother in California that he visited.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So
I'm
we're
doing the loop.
Oh, that was going to say that's
California to Kennewick, back to Wyoming.
So I said, hey,
right.
we're going to go see a movie you don't want to see.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it really late at night after you drove all day.
Yeah. Drop one by.
Did you?
Come on down.
And then afterwards,
Come on down.
we're going to make you talk about it.
Yeah, that's right. She's going to strap you in and say, hey.
So that tells you how cool he is. He's laid back.
Well,
yeah.
There
You just say, okay, I'll go with the flow.
High five.
So we saw Slenderman.
Yeah, we did.
And basically, it's about a small town in Massachusetts. And a group of friends, fascinated by the internet lore of the Slenderman, attempt to prove that he doesn't actually exist. I'm reading this slow on purpose because until one of them mysteriously goes missing. I was reading it slow because that's how I felt the movie kind of went.
It was really slow, and then when it did things, they weren't done well.
Yes.
I mean, they were really clean looking, but it had a heavy I don't want to say fake. Had a very CGI-ish presence, and I think it suffered from not making any sense whatsoever.
I don't really know the backstory of Slenderman. I don't really know the folklore behind it.
I was going to ask you if this is like a second film. I mean, was there already a Slenderman out?
I don't
Oh,
think
this
so.
is it.
This is it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really, because this had all the charm of the sixth.
If we were teenagers, we might get this more. Because we'd probably be online looking at Slenderman.
One thing I have noticed is that today's modern monster tends to be fairly conversant in computerese.
Yes.
And can really knock it down on a cell phone. Right?
That's right.
Yeah. So it's kind of there's a more of a sophistication, technical sophistication for today's bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think they had to make this look like the drawings too, so I think that's why it didn't look so amazing. I don't want to ruin anything, but was that vague enough? Yeah,
that was big enough. But you know, at the beginning, it's funny. What is my favorite monster saying? Is the less that you see, the better it is, right? And for 2/3 of the film, I was actually thinking to myself, wow, I don't even think we have hardly even seen this thing at all. And then we saw a lot of it and didn't count.
But you see what I'm saying? It's like the drawing. So if I guess if I knew more about it, maybe I'd be more scared. I don't know. If I was a teenager in high school and I spent all my time messing around online looking at Photoshop pictures of Slenderman, getting creeped out about it, this might scare me more.
Well, I was scared right at the very beginning when the teenage high school students were talking about teenage high school stuff.
Yeah, that
was terrifying.
I have to say, I went to see 8th grade. And eighth grade, and I got through about 20 minutes of it before I thought to myself, holy crap, I'm not going through 8th grade again. This is just ridiculous. I feel sweaty and pimply and unpopular. I was really not overly impressed.
I wasn't either, but this is weird that we just talked about Nightmare on Elm Street. because there were a lot of things that were similar to Nightmare on Elm Street.
There were, however,
Dreams and stuff.
I might say that one of the elements of Nightmare on Elm Street is that it did have better. Nightmare on Elm Street has rules,
right?
That the films kind of follow pretty closely. In fact, most of the good horror films have kind of begin by setting out a set of rules, so that we know when we're going to slip into when a creature is coming. And like, for instance, well, it's easy in the nightmares because, you go to sleep and usually it's brought in by a musical cue. But the thing is this one didn't,
and noises.
It did. It had terrible, it had noises that
I feel
were
like I was in a boat.
Yeah, it did feel like it was in a boat. There was a lot of creaking. There was a lot of that kind of thing. If it had just one seagull in there, I would have thought I was watching Jaws. Yeah, no, definitely. But what I'm saying is horror films usually set out rules and then follow rules, and it's sort of like the situation is won by a clever application of the rules, right? Mm-hmm. And this one didn't seem to actually have much of any rules. It just kind of was a random selection of things going on.
Well, they kind of went through a journey together as a group. I almost feel like there should have been an outsider, though, like one that decided not to participate or something. And then the girls, the 4 girls.
Right. Well, how about the boyfriend that saw the film?
Right. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, what happened to him?
I don't know.
Yeah, didn't he just kind of not even really...
Yeah, I thought he might be a part of some part of that story, but then he wasn't.
They just wrote him out. No, you're absolutely right.
That was kind of weird.
Just kind of wrote him out.
They were going to bring him in, but they chose not to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It definitely looked like he...
pissed off the wrong person, I guess. The producer or something.
Well, yeah. Maybe he really couldn't act.
So I liked some of the effects, and there was one that was the thing coming out of the girls.
But that was it.
I'm trying to be vague.
Yeah, but
Stomach?
Yes, stomach.
Yeah, but it was a visual effect, and it had. I thought that it would have been really cool if they'd done it practically, because it would have looked.
Oh, absolutely.
I thought it would have looked a lot better.
This would have looked better if Tim Burton directed it too.
There were some suspenseful moments. It didn't, like you said, it was kind of disorganized.
Yeah, it was disorganized. It was there like it
but
wasn't.
There were times when I was like,
yeah,
I almost got scared.
Like the good scenes were the ones where you.
There are times when I felt maybe I was like 75% of the way towards being scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then most of it was like 13.5%.
There were some scenes that were scary
like
up to a point. Like the library scene where you don't see anything. There's all these noises.
Right.
And she's freaking out. And she's running out all different directions with Nightmare on Elm Street style.
Exactly.
And then the optical stuff started
What's
happening.
terrible? And then they had the terrible optical. Right?
Yes.
They had like classic...
horror, yeah.
Classic original horror, but it wasn't done well.
I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then it got weird.
It got too weird. It got
psychedelic.
Too far. Yeah, it went...
Well, that's kind of how most of the scenes were, really.
Yeah. The hospital was very strange.
Yeah.
The hospital kept going.
That was from Halloween. I think that they used that same hospital in Halloween.
Well, yeah.
Or actually, a lot of different movies, probably.
Yeah.
Did they not have a lighting crew, or is that just kind of what they were going for, where you can't see anything?
Though, I have to say that there was just no point where I felt overly threatened.
Right.
I just
there weren't really any good scares either, that sudden jump scares or anything.
I didn't get that. And
there was one that made me laugh. I can't even remember what it was, but I was laughing. I was like, well, this is supposed to be scary, but I think it's really funny.
Yeah. Okay. What I was thinking about was how things appear in the script, as opposed to and how you look at them as opposed to what they become in the long run. Because like we're talking about Slenderman.
Right.
And you say that there hasn't been one before this.
Right.
But it definitely had the feeling of an awful lot of films that I've seen lately.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I think to a certain extent, there wasn't a great deal of imagination in the effects that went on. I mean, some of them were pretty well done and all that, but there wasn't. There's something to be said for kind of sitting there with an effect in your mind for a while with a piece of a script and in trying to go the extra degree, you know, trying to not hit that thing that Rachel Talalay put it really, really well in the foreword in my book. She said that taking the truck and you know, being in the truck and using the truck in the circle, in the time loop, Groundhog's Day kind of thing, was a really good idea. But getting out of it, we kept coming up with uncreative solutions for the longest time, which is why we kept having those meetings. And finally, she says, and the crux of Nightmare on Elm Street 3 is coming up with the solution of hitting nothing.
Yeah.
See, you know, hitting Freddy or hitting a tree or something like that, you know, that's what you normally do. Yeah. But hitting nothing, you know, that's when you've sat down and really tried your best to take a situation apart. Mm-hmm. You know, I give you another example is like Joey trapped in a waterbed. Right, that concept, you don't know what that's going to be like at the very beginning. You know, it like when we did that gag, it was just written words, you know, and now you have an image in your mind to attach to that, and I thought it was done really well by Peter Chesney and Rick Baker, who did the stunts, and Chesney, who did the effects, and I this has been brought to my mind because there was an awful lot of stuff in that film that just seemed to be, you know, well, like Slenderman was the idea of it being kind of a branch,
right? Kind of a tree,
yeah, kind of a tree.
Yeah, which
either of you catch the little moral at the end of the movie that they talked about, where don't be spreading gossip was kind of what they. The last thing they said at the movie.
Like it was
so
like
the whole movie was about like why you shouldn't be spreading gossip. Otherwise, Slenderman will come get you, or something. That's kind of how I took it. I mean, at the very end, they just blurt out this thing at the very end.
Yeah, no, it was.
And I'm like, what is
the
this?
sister of the?
Trying to be a moral story.
Yeah. Wow.
Sort, you know, and I'm like,
wow.
I actually didn't really make that connection.
You know, it's because I have no morals
well,
to wake up.
They just
I think that's a pretty good shoehorn in, to tell you the truth. I'm not
ready for the sequel.
Yeah.
For the sequel. Don't spread gossip.
This didn't really leave much open for a sequel.
I was going to say, yeah, it's like, yeah.
Unless little sister might,
gossip man.
That
Gossip sequel.
Cat got your tongue? Gossip man, I'll get you.
So, do you think the script was just they just followed a script blindly, just said we're not going to change anything, and that's probably why it's flawed? Because the director came from a TV background, heavy TV background.
Yeah, it's funny because there was a certain series of effects that almost became a I can't think of the name. There was a film in the mid '80s that was just nothing but pictures of Arizona and I can't think of the guy's name, but it was 3 hours of just like kind of things just shooting past your head like this. And
dude, that reminded me of a really fast version of like a Salvador Dali movie.
Yeah.
Like with the eyeballs.
I was going to say, yeah, it was kind of a cross between Salvador Dali does that the very ending of 2001.
Oh, yeah,
you know, the end of 2001 when you start to go into that long
that tunnel thing.
Yeah, that tunnel thing that's showing you all these visions and everything, and that's kind of had that feeling, but that's way too out there and way too like Brunel or something like that, you know.
Well, at first I kind of liked some of the psychedelic things going on in this. Like I did like the sound of the horn, the bell that kind of bent.
Yeah,
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, they shoehorn. They got a lot of stuff in there. You know, I was like, I don't know. You know, it was becoming a New Age European 1968 film is what it was becoming. Yeah, that's right. Just massive, all kinds of. You know what I expected is I expected it to just stop and there, you know, be a red balloon going down a beach.
Or if you go back to the early French cinema, you'd have the girls making out with each other, probably.
That's right. Yeah,
so that was missing.
With a red balloon on a beach.
Actually, speaking of them, I thought the actors were pretty good. Actually, in this, I thought they were.
The acting was not bad for what it was.
Yeah,
they all did good expressions and kind of.
Yeah, so. All of them.
The dad was kind of lame with that, but
there were a couple lame moments.
You know what? The thing is in these films, it's all the casting of the adults is almost like in a Linus or Peanuts. Yeah. Peanuts cartoon, you know.
But they did stay true to the theme throughout. They didn't go in different directions, trying to tell different stories. They stayed focused on this
one story. Yeah,
I mean there
wasn't a lot of backstory.
Probably,
there was
considered a plus because they stayed focused on trying to. Yeah, scare people.
Yeah, well, they certainly didn't have enough creativity to go that much further out. So
some of these movies, they go off on these
tangents, to
build some sort of storyline that really has nothing to do with the main.
Or they do a love story.
Well,
yeah. Which I thought this was going to have a love story, but it didn't.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, yeah.
Matter of fact, they just wrote the boyfriend out right there.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened to the boyfriend. If you know what happened to the boyfriend, get back to us. The email is at the end of the episode.
Maybe that's like the seed that they're planning for the sequel. It'll be a boy.
It'll be Slender Woman.
That's right.
Yes.
Slender Woman.
It'll be Slender Woman. It'll be a group of boys.
Wait. You know what would be great is that image, the poster image, right? You know, and then as you're watching it, just out of the mist, there's a slightly shorter one next to him and then a really shorter one next to him. It's like the Slender family. Slender family.
Hey, they could do like a Leatherface kind of version of it where the whole
family is whatever.
The family of trees is attacking people.
Family is the saw. You know, there's another thing is there is a way to prevent horror films is to teach your children how to turn the lights on.
Yeah.
You know, when they go downstairs in the dark and they hear a noise, turn the lights on. When you go outside in the dark and you're going into the forest, take a flashlight.
Or just don't go in the forest at night.
Only you can prevent horror films.
So there was a scene where they were going to give stuff away.
Yeah, right.
I'm just being really vague on purpose, but
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah,
so why do they do that? Why can't they do that during the day? Why not? So I would have been there. I'm not doing this at night. Let's do it tomorrow at noon.
No way. Turn on a light. Turn on a light. Turn on a light. Turn on a light. That's all I could think of. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still looking forward to another movie with teenagers. That's a horror movie that actually is good, like really good.
There was one. It was like kind of a Groundhog Day one that was been a couple of years now. I can't think of the name of it. With a girl.
That was it Friend Request or
no.
One of those?
No. But it was right at that time. It was excellent. Yeah. I have to tell you,
isn't it one we reviewed?
It is not one that we reviewed.
Where the girl kept dying and she kept coming back and.
Yeah. Oh, did we review it? Yeah, we did.
I'm trying to remember which one it was. I want to say it was Friend Request.
Well, wait. Yeah. Come on, duh. It's kind of hard. How many have we've done? Over 100.
Yes, it's crazy.
Yeah, actually,
some of those are retro movies.
I have done this. Ones. I have looked back over the list recently and gone, I don't remember that. I have no idea what that is.
So my trick will work because I was planning on let's review one that we've already reviewed, and then I'll see if he still feels the same way about it.
He has this thing in his head that he needs a spreadsheet so he can keep score, so that all these work in, like when we do the numbers on it, that they actually mean something, which
They really don't.
I think that we all really have to admit
Too
that.
much to keep track of.
Yeah, the
Actually,
numbers mean nothing.
From this exercise, I've learned that like when you watch critics rate stuff, it's like it could change day by day. Like I could see a movie one day,
oh, absolutely,
I think it's four out of 5. The next day, I might be in a different mood, and I'll see it and be like, 2 out of 5.
Oh yeah, this is one thing I have definitely found in having a movie pass, because and by the way,
it's dead now.
Let us just bow our heads for the death
Let's
of
play taps.
for the death of movie pass, and what a really, really awful idea that really was. But
it was good while it lasted.
It was great. I got like I said, I got down to 68 cents a movie
for a year.
But you know what? There's a couple of things I did learn about that, though.
Must be nice to be retired.
Shut up. Of course it is. But I did notice that there were days that I just didn't even care.
Yeah.
That I went to a movie, because after a while there, I was going to a movie every day just to say that I was going to a movie every day, right? And some of them, they just weren't landing with my brain anymore.
You were just sitting in the movie.
I was just sitting in the movie. Blah, blah, blah. I was just taking a nap sometimes.
Well, I saw 1 or 2 movies a week, so I think it was worth it for that reason. But now I got to do something else. I think AMC, I'm coming your way.
I've got it already. I'm an AMC member already.
Well, I waited till today, and I was looking. There were only 2 options: the Meg or Black Klansman.
Right.
That's it.
Absolutely. That's the Movie Pass choice. Movie Pass is they're gone. Yeah. They're really and they seem to change what they're going to do in the future. They change every week. This is what we're going to do. No, this is what we're going to offer. We kind of offered you this, but you know what? We decided to change our mind. Look, this time we really want to be honest with you.
Yeah, and then they're doing some stuff like, "Hey, take a picture of your ticket." And then, send in a blood sample. Wow.
Yeah.
That's random stuff. They didn't really do that. Not that
take a picture of your penis on top of your ticket. No, with the ticket on top of your penis.
So are we going to rate this one? I think we're done.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much done with this thing.
Not really.
You know what?
We usually have more to say about movies
What's
we don't really like.
maximum number of stars?
Maximum. Well, it's kind of
5,
we started with 5, and then we started into a decimal system. So I'll go first. I'm going to give this a 2.3. Is what came to mind.
That's kind of generous. I'm like a 2.
You're 2. Yeah. Okay, there you go.
I thought you'd like this. I thought you would hate this worse than me.
I probably do. My 2.3 means less than your 2.
Wow.
I'll go 2.4 because there was a moment when I almost got pulled in. Just a moment.
Almost got pulled in.
Almost got pulled in.
That's actually appropriate wording for this movie.
Yes, it was. Almost.
It didn't happen. It didn't happen, but I felt like it could have happened. So
yeah,
I'll give it 2.4.
There you go.
This is actually a good movie for people who have played trees in plays in school. So if you ever wanted to be a tree, I don't know. Anyway. I'll leave that alone.
Yeah, please do. Please. So, that's about it altogether.
We got a little mini story time out of Mick a little bit.
Yeah, you did. There was a little one in there. I was thinking to go back to that thought I was saying. I was trying to think of times that I had read things that came out much better than I thought, and I'll tell you one of them that for sure came out a lot better. Philip's death in Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Story time. It's story time with Mick. Story time with Mick. Story time with Mick. Story time with Mick. Story time with Mick.
Where he's being puppeted by the veins. Yeah. That was such an absurd thing to read in the script. You know, Freddy is a mannequin on the wall, and he grows up. And then he reaches over the bed and he cuts down and opens up Philip's veins and then uses them to puppet him down the hall and stands up on a tower. And I have to tell you, literally it was one of those ones where you just read and you go, I have no idea what that means. No, not even a clue. And its final concept really creeped me out.
That was one of the best scenes of that one.
It really was, but I'm telling you, it's it's just a weird concept There was one to me that really didn't work. I think that almost the fact that it really didn't work kind of worked for it in a way was the TV one.
I thought you were going to say the beach. I don't like the beach scene.
Yeah, the beach scene is terrible. No, that's right. But it seemed terrible.
I don't think the TV worked. That was kind of a cool scene, I thought. Why did people dress like...
It was absurdist.
That thing all the time. The girl with the TV
Oh, yeah.
in her head.
No. I understand. For me, personally, it...
Like, from what the script to what it came out to is what you...
Right, exactly. The script really seemed really, really cool. And I know that people love it and all. I think it just feels clunky. And you know what? I know that this is really stupid, but I have problems to this day with the relationship between her down on the ground and reaching up and the arms and her hanging in it. And supposedly, that was an accident and all the rest of that. And
like she killed herself. Or
yeah, she killed herself and
threw herself into a TV.
And it was very silly at the end where she just hanging.
Yeah, it's like 5 feet.
5 feet. Yeah. That was just, but the beach scene is a really good one for one that just didn't.
I didn't like that. I never liked that scene.
Yeah, that scene just didn't work for me.
They could just cut that out. I'll be fine. It's like really. That's how I feel with that scene.
Yeah.
Sorry if it was your concept, but
it's not my concept. Hey, not my monkeys.
I give that scene a 1.6 out of 5.
Not my circus. Not my monkeys. Yeah, no. Robert and Tuesday Night tell a story about people coming down into that. We were in this park in the South Bay, and it's just like one of those weird corner areas that's right next. You got a freeway to your back right here. It's like as you're looking at the beach, it's a little pond. Right? And right behind you is the freeway. And so the pond is right here. And the strange thing about it was, and I kept saying this to Rennie, I said, here's the thing. You're going to try and do this gag right there, right? And we have a problem with that because the sand that you're using for it is right next to a pond. Now, let me tell you, anybody knows that if you start digging a hole in sand,
it'll fill with water probably.
Yeah, it constantly is going to fill, and it just turned out to be a nightmare. So in the end, we wound up, dumping sand off everywhere you could imagine. Sand was on the stage, and sand was and there's a thing that happens in films is you start to carry crap with you. You start to carry the concept of the sand of that set that didn't work. You get a bunch of pieces that just didn't work, and you're kind of doing them on the road. So to the next location that you go to, they figure, we'll just put that on the schedule, and they do, and you wind up carrying a couple of tons of sand to the next location, but they don't get to it because they don't care about that anymore, but they care about it just enough to put it on the schedule and drive you bananas. And so I have a feeling that because of that, and because it failed so drastically, and just like I said it was going to, that we probably ran a ton and a half of sand all over the LA area. It was well-traveled sand.
That's good.
Yeah. It made it to the valley, South Bay, Valley, downtown, a couple times in Pasadena, and then on its way. And then eventually Peter shot a lot of it in the parking lot of his Dream Quest, not Dream Quest, but Image Engineering. So, wow, I'm sorry, I'm way off track here. So I've had Elm Street on the brain, as you can easily tell. By the way, I have a book coming out. Did I mention that I wrote a book? No. It's called Behind the Screams, and it's all about the making of Nightmare on Elm Street 4. And it's not like any stories you've ever heard before. Thanks for playing. You have a nice day.
This is Kurt Thomas along with Nick Strawn. Thank you for listening to the Dream Warrior Review. If you have any questions or just have feedback for our show, we welcome them at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com. Of course, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter as well. As always, please follow us and tell your friends about us too.